Hey guys, Amy Coello. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Welcome to my RV. Many of you know I travel full-time in ministry, and so we live full-time in an RV, 40-foot rig with our 5 children and our 2 full-grown dogs. It is interesting. So I noticed, I'm sure you noticed that we've been putting up more videos and kind of reaching out a lot more, and we're very excited. You know, when you joined, most likely you filled out the 3 questions, and when you did that, you said, hey, Amy, we'd like to know a little bit more about dream interpretation. So I'm so excited to tell you that you asked and we answered. Kingdom Flame TV has been doing about a year's worth of recording of just dream interpretation training. So it's 1 hour episode every 2 weeks. The link is below, down, one of those directions. Click on there. There's about 8 hours of dream interpretation training. We spend 30 minutes teaching theory, and we spend 30 minutes going through just going through the dreams and teaching through the dreams, just showing you, not teaching just theory, but also teaching you how to get through a dream and how do you put the symbols together and how do you think through the symbols. So join me there. It's $15. Come on, guys. 8 hours worth of training for $15. It's unheard of. There's no interpretation for that. So $10 goes to the production of the videos that we did, and then $5 goes to our 501c3, which is Mandate 58, which is based on Isaiah 58, that if we would spend our life on the homeless and the orphans and the widows. And so that's our ministry. That's what we do. That's what we stand for. So by joining and getting your 8 hours worth of dream interpretation training, you're also helping pay for the production and keeping us on the road and giving to our 501c3. So what a win-win. So as you see, we're in our RV. My husband did this wall. It's our chalkboard wall, and this is where I do my interpretation for our mentorship group. Well, tonight is our mentorship group every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. You can join me if you go to my website, amycoello.com, click on the Learn tab, drop down to the mentorship group. You can register there. But tonight is our dream interpretation mentorship meeting. So I just wanted to jump on and give you a little update. We're going to be making some changes in the group. We're going to be bringing you more leader circles, which is our interviews, just like we did with Sean Morris. In the next week or so, we will have Caleb Brundage, who is the flagging guru. I mean, he's just amazing. And so he will be coming on. We'll be doing a 1 hour interview with him. And that's just all about why flags are important. What do flags and banners mean in the prophetic? Why are they important? And what do we do with them? And just giving some more in-depth understanding of flagging and stuff like that. I will be with Caleb at the Riverside Festival in Austin, Texas after this weekend. I'll be with Sean Morris in Houston, and then we go to Austin and we do the Riverside Festival. So if you guys are in Austin, Houston, come out and see us, hug our neck, and just say, hey, I'm part of your group. And the prophetic dreams, symbols, and interpretation. And thank you guys so much for supporting us. We're going to be making some changes on the group. We have been collecting applications for endorsed interpreters. So we're about to make a shift, guys. We are about to move from having just everyone interpret, which gets kind of crazy when you have 48,000 people, to having endorsed interpreters. So if you would like an application to fill out, you want more training, or do you want to interpret, we're about to shut down interpretations and just have our endorsed interpreters interpret. We've kind of weighed this out for several years. As you know, we've been in ministry for about 5 years. Well, prophetic dream, symbols, and interpretation, I've been in ministry for 20, but this site specifically has been going for about 5 years. So we've just kind of allowed everybody in to interpret, and that's fine. You know, people have asked me as I've traveled and I've spoken and taught on dreams, they've asked me, hey, Amy, you know, I get on there and sometimes you get some kind of whacked out interpretations, or some people are ugly, or some people don't know what they're talking about, or that was unbiblical, or there was a witch on there. Yes, we are a ministry to those that are not specifically biblically minded. So we have witch doctors, and I mean, we just have every culture on our board, but we are specifically a biblical dream interpretation group. But because we've left it open for many to practice the gift, that has caused us some confusion. We just really feel like there's a shift we're going to be taking and taking more responsibility in our interpretations. I kind of liked having everybody interpret. One, because it gives you the opportunity to learn how to discern, weigh interpretations, what feels right and what doesn't. Don't get offended, but just know what to eat and what not to eat. And so that has been my stance for about 5 years. But our admin team, we've got a wonderful admin team, and we are about to make that shift where we feel like the people that we're mentoring and training up, we're just going to move over and let them have the reins and say, hey, let's take a little bit more responsibility. We're getting bigger. Obviously, we're 48,000 people, almost to 49,000 people. It's a little hard to kind of control that. So we're about to kind of take a shift. We're going to do it slowly, but we're going to take the shift to be more responsible with our interpretations, with your interpretations, because that's what's important to us ultimately. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about a question that came up today on PDSI, and that was with Deborah Standstill, Fluker or Flucker. I hope I'm saying that right. Everyone gets my name wrong. I'm with you. Deborah Standstill. I'll call you that. Deborah Standstill. She says, most of my dreams, why do I see my grandma in them? She passed away 4 years ago. That's a great question, Deborah. I did an episode on Kingdom Flame on I See Dead People. And that's all about, what does the Bible say about people coming back? We see that in the Mount Transfiguration. We see that with Jesus. We see several times. We see the witch at Endor. We see Samuel. So we do see, the coming back. And so I really just kind of go over biblical theology on what does that mean and what does that look like. But I will tell you this. Whenever we see people in our dreams, we want to look at 3 different things. Are they literal? Are they symbolic? Or are they positional? What do I mean by that? So is it literally your grandmother coming back? I have seen that happen. Remember, we're just a veil away. We're just a very thin veil. To be apart from the body is to be with Christ. And so, there's a thin veil there. We do see people coming back, interacting. If we're spirit realm, it's just this right here that's between them and us. And so here's what I have found. In the 15 years that I've been interpreting dreams, I get this a lot about people coming back, either parents. My daughter passed in 2002, and just recently in the last year and a half, she's kind of been showing up a lot more. My kids see her. They see spirits and demons. They also see her. They see other things. They're seers. I don't, because I'm not a seer, and thank God, because some of the things they see, I don't want to see. But, I just go over the biblical aspects of that. So if you want to see that video, leave a link and I'll give you the video for that. And but we want to look at it, is it literal? And here's what I have found when it is literal, it is not always a familiar spirit, and it is not demonic every time a dead person comes back in your dreams. It's just not, because if that were the case, then we would have to look at the Mount Transfiguration and interpret that whole scene as demonic. And we can't do that. We see Jesus coming back. We can't say that was demonic. Yes, I can say the witch of Endor being called up, pretty demonic. So that with every act in the Bible, there's a positive and a negative, and we have to weigh out the Holy Spirit, and we have to weigh out, discernment. But here's what I find. They come back with one of 3 things. They either come back with a message, come back with a gift, or they bring comfort. Now, my dad passed in 2015, and my spiritual father, John Paul Jackson, passed. They have both come back in my dreams, or actually in my RV, to be honest with you. And and here's what I found out of all those things, that every time they come back, they either come back with one of those 3 things. That's what I have found in the 15 years of doing this and studying this. And when my father came back in a dream, he was telling me how heaven was. He was explaining to me, he was showing me these big fruits and was explaining to me, and he actually was a fruit He was a produce consultant, so he traveled around to big chains and he consulted on produce, where to buy produce at what time of the year. If there was a hurricane in Honduras, don't buy your bananas over there, buy them over here. So that's what he did. So I just likened it when I woke up. I go, that's funny. Things don't change on the other side very much. If you've ever worked with John Paul Jackson, you know that he has a knack for showing up in your dreams and also showing up in your RV at the wrong time of the day. And so it's just really, he's come back with messages. He's come back with a hug. He's come back with letting me know I'm on the right path and just speaking encouragement to me. Several people have contacted me and said, hey, you know, I was preaching and all of a sudden John Paul Jackson showed up in the room, and what does that mean? I'm like, yeah, good luck. He used to do that when he was alive, so guess things never change. Better you than me. So, you know, you can call it demonic if you want, but biblically we really can't make that true. So then we look at it and go, is it literal? Are they coming back with a, you know, are they coming back with a message, a gift, or are they coming back with comfort? Number two, are they symbolic? Meaning, what's their name? You know, what is the meaning of their name? Because you could be interacting with the spirit, because God, names are very, very important. Why? We know that because he changed names in the Bible. So clearly, if he's always changing names in the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, he's all about those names, man. If your name was not correct, he was going to change it. So we know that names are critical in dream interpretation, as well as even in scripture. And so pay attention to the names, look up the spirit. He changed names based on characteristics. And so when you engage with a human or, you know, a person in your dream, look at the characteristic of what you're dealing with. I recommend, I don't have it with me, I will have it tonight in my dream mentorship. I'm glad I remembered that. But it's by Dorothy Astoria, and it is the name book. You can buy it off my website. It helps our ministry if you do. That would be a blessing, amycoello.com. But it's the only name book I use. It's got scriptural references. It's got spiritual connotations. She prayed through every one of those names, and she did the research. So I love it. It's beautiful. We carry it. We used to carry it on their streams tables. And I still use it today. And it looks like I use it every day for the last 15 years. And then one, so is the person literal? Is the person symbolic? Or is the person positional? What does that mean? Well, positional means grandmother. In Deborah's case, my grandmother keeps showing up. Are we speaking about a lineage, an inheritance, a legacy? You know, Jesus cares about every hair on our head. And he loves that I have blue hair, just so you know. He cares about every hair on our head. He holds every tear in his hand. He cares about the ever moments of our life. God is about lineage. He's all about the lineage, the cleaning up of the lineage, the breaking the curses off the lineage, the moving into wholeness and wellness in our lineage. He's about the line. And so, you know, positionally speaking, seeing people who have come back in the past, especially your grandmother, can speak of maybe a lineage gift. It's symbolic to, it's positional to, maybe it has to do with your lineage. A lot of times people go back into their grandparents' house and they pick up something. So we know that that has to do with your lineage and about inheritance and about the family line. So I hope that helps a little bit. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave it down at the bottom. Jamal, we'll be seeing you this weekend, I hope, in Houston. He said, Prophet Jamal Owen said, he gave me a word of encouragement and direction to follow the Lord, that his father, 2 weeks after he passed away. Yes, my father revealed some things too after he passed away, and so did John Paul after he passed away. So yes, that's so near and dear to my heart. And there is an interacting in the spirit realm. Our loved ones are in the spirit realm. If we're interacting in the spirit realm, we're interacting with our loved ones. I don't think everything is always familiar spirits. We really don't see that biblically. If you find some theology on that, please let me know. But I don't find it. I mean, I do find that it does happen, but it's not always the case. April Waller, I saw my daddy spirit before he died in the same room. Yes. I find that when my dad was passing away in the month that I took care of him with cancer, I just prayed and I said, Lord, let this be something very spiritual and let him encounter you. He didn't, at that time, he had just gotten saved maybe 3 years before. And he did. Jesus showed up in the room, and my dad, pointed at something and said, what is that? And I go, what are you looking at, Dad? I looked at my mom. He goes, don't you see that right there? It's like Jesus is standing there with his arms open like he's in a religious ceremony. I looked at my mom and went, he's about to go. And then he saw his old dog from when he was a child. So his older dog came from his childhood. Dog came to visit him. And we know animals are in heaven because we see it in Revelation. So we see that that is true also. So his spirit, we can see that. I've been with people who have, passed, and their spirit comes into the room and is there, and you can see it hovering around. And that is true. A lot of times we see that, April, where God will prepare our hearts for the passing. And my mother actually had a dream about my grandmother coming in and giving her some turmeric. And I knew when I interpreted the dream, I was like, Grandma's about to go. Sure enough, 3 weeks later, she had passed. But we were prepared for it because she came and brought turmeric, and turmeric was one of those graveyard spices. And so we knew that was about, and turmeric is about healing. So we knew the time. So God prepared our hearts. He loved us enough that it wasn't a surprise. Justin Vargas said, is it normal to have superhero dreams? Yes, Justin, yes, especially you men. Guys have superhero dreams. They have war dreams. They have shoot 'em up dreams. They've got aliens and superheroes. And, just like when you were a child, you were ultimately, in the purity of your heart, you were, I don't know how old you are, but you were attracted to like He-Man and Star Wars and noises and all that other weird stuff. I have 9 children, and so my boys make the weirdest noises. So yes, that's normal. It's typical. It talks about, it's really speaking to your conquering nature and your warring nature, the slaying the dragon nature. And so that's very, very common. Justin said, meaning I have special powers. Yes, you will find that when you're not having as many character and integrity dreams, fixing your character, kind of coming in and honing in on your character, then you'll move over to having calling dreams. And as you're walking through calling dreams, they will turn into different types of meaning. And Justin, let me just give you something for you. God is giving you those special powers in the dream. How do I know that? Listen, Solomon. If you go back and look at the scripture in Solomon, the whole scripture about Solomon, what do you want? And he could have asked for anything, gold, girls, glory, but he didn't. He asked for what? He asked for one thing. Let me have wisdom to judge your people, God. And it says, as you read all the way down there, it says, and Solomon awoke from this dream. So there's the principle, Justin. God can give you and encounter you a special gift, because when Solomon woke up from his bed that night after that dream, that vision, he operated in wisdom. And so those superpowers are actually being birthed into you. The word dreaming in Hebrew means to impregnate. To insert seminal fluid is actually what the word dreaming means. So he's impregnating you with his spirit, which is special and it's supernatural. Dan Hernandez, just a question. I lost my son in 2010. Dan, I'm so sorry to hear that. My heart goes out to you. I know what it's like to attend your child's funeral, and it's one of the worst things a parent could ever experience. I dream of him sometimes. My wife seldom dreams of him. Our pain is constant. It is. Why do some dream of our loved ones and some don't? Dan, listen, my daughter died in 2002, and I asked that same question. I teach on dream interpretation, have for well over a decade. I've dedicated my life to it, and I wasn't having dreams about her either. I think maybe I've had 3, maybe 2 dreams about her. But my kids see her a lot. Even the ones that came after her, they see her, they knew what she looked like, but they've dreamed about her. I'm not sure. I've asked the Lord at times in the earlier years, Lord, let me just see her. And I have. He's gifted me that. But maybe 2 times, one that I know for sure that I encountered her. But, you know, our faith needs to be on him and him alone, that our loved ones are there. I will tell you, though, in the last year and a half, she just started showing up a lot in the RV and around, in and around. My daughter just saw her again. I don't know why she's this age that she would be now. I asked my daughter what she looked like, and it's exactly like what, you know, she would have looked like. And she came after Jayla died. So it's very interesting. You know, I don't search and run after. I don't ask those questions. I just have faith in my Jesus that she's there with him, and he's raising her up to be that powerhouse, to that I will see her again. My kids see her. I don't. But it just comforts my heart when they do. And I just encourage you to lean in on him. I knew 2010, you know, it's, you know, the pain is constant. It is constant. And, you know, I just got to a place where I just stopped asking, can I see her? And just trusted that she was okay, you know, and that, you know, that God would heal my heart from that. And he really has. And so as soon as I've, you know, walked through a lot of healing, all of a sudden she starts showing up. Bless you, Dan. You know, my heart goes out to you right now. April Waller, I have dreams that I can fly like a bird. I'm trying to get others to fly too. That has a lot to do with your calling. You are called to fly. You are flying, and now you're trying to mentor others into flying. Speaking of mentoring, I am 7 minutes late, and I'm sure my mentorship group is going, where is Amy? Guys, if you have any questions, leave them down below. Be sure to check out our kingdomflame.com. It will bless our ministry so we can give you more of these teachings on a regular basis. You're awesome, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.